You know that feeling? You ask an AI a question, and what you get back is, well, just not it. It's frustrating, right? Turns out, the secret to unlocking the real power of these tools isn't just what you ask, but how you ask. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this super important new skill for the age of AI, prompt engineering.
So how do you really talk to an AI? I mean, we've all been there, messing around with tools like ChatGPT. And it's amazing, no doubt. But getting that perfect response you're picturing in your head, yeah, that can be a whole other story. It really is an art and a bit of a science to getting that conversation right.
And this right here really paints the picture, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the vague request. You kind of just throw a word or a phrase at the AI. And what do you get? Pretty much garbage. But then look at the other side. You give it context, a format, some specific words, and bam! The AI has a clear path and gives you something actually useful, something high quality. That gap between the two? That's what we're talking about today.
All right, so let's dive into this. The AI communication gap. Why is there even a gap in the first place? Well, understanding why it's there is the key to figuring out how to bridge it, and that's how we'll get these amazing AI tools to really work for us.
Okay, so think of it like this. These generative AI models, they're like a genius who's read every book in the world. They know everything, but they're sitting in a library the size of a planet. If you just walk in and say, tell me something, where do they even start? They can write you a sonnet, or a business plan, or a line of code. That incredible flexibility is also their biggest weakness. Without us giving them very specific directions, context, details, they're just lost in that sea of information.
So what is prompt engineering exactly? Let's break it down. To really get a handle on this, we've got to understand two key terms that are at the core of it all.
First, you've got the prompt. Super simple. It's just the text you type in, your instruction. Could be a question, a command, whatever you're asking the AI to do. It's your half of the dialogue.
And that leads us to prompt engineering. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This isn't just asking a question, it's the process, the craft of carefully designing that instruction. It's about picking just the right words, the right format, maybe even some specific symbols to steer the AI exactly where you want it to go.
All right, let's talk about why prompting really matters. This all might sound a little theoretical, right? So let's look at a real-world example. This will show you just how crucial this is for making AI apps actually useful for, real people.
So picture this. Someone's on a shopping website and they type into the chatbot where to purchase a shirt. Just that. I mean, what is an AI supposed to do with that? It's so vague. It has no idea where this person is, what kind of shirt they want. It's totally lost.
But here's where the magic happens, kind of behind the curtain. The application doesn't just pass that question along. No way. It takes that simple query and wraps it in a much more detailed, engineered prompt. It says, okay, AI, your job is to be a sales assistant. The user is in Alabama. They want a shirt? Give them the 3 closest stores that have one in stock. See? It adds all the missing pieces. That is what prompt engineering does.
And the payoff here is huge for everybody. For developers, you get way more control over the AI's behavior, which means you can stop it from going off the rails. For you, the user, it means you get a useful answer right away, no more guessing games. And for businesses, you can build these flexible prompts that work for all sorts of different situations. It's a win-win-win.
So, what's actually in the prompt engineer's toolkit? How do they do this stuff? Let's pop the hood and look at a couple of the core techniques they use every day.
Here's a really cool way to think about it. The prompt engineer, they're the director, and the AI, that's your brilliant, award-winning actor. The prompt is the script, the direction, everything. It tells the actor who they are, what the scene is about, and what their motivation is. You're directing the AI to give that perfect performance.
Okay, first technique up. It's called chain of thought prompting. This is so cool. It's basically how you get an AI to think things through step by step, instead of just blurting out the first answer it comes up with. You're asking it to show its work, which makes its reasoning a lot more solid. So here's how it works. You don't just ask a big, complex question. Instead, you tell the AI to break it down into smaller, logical pieces. You literally guide it step by step through the problem. By getting it to mimic a human train of thought, you get much, much smarter answers. All right, next up, we've got another great technique. It's called directional stimulus prompting. Now, if chain of thought was all about logic and reasoning, this is all about creativity. It's how you give the AI little hints, little guideposts to nudge its creativity in the direction you want. Take a look at this. A basic prompt is something like, write a poem about love. Okay, sure, but that could go anywhere. Now, a directional prompt is different. You say, write a poem about love, and make sure you use the words heart, passion, and/or eternal. See that? You've added a stimulus, a few keywords, and now you've given the AI's creativity a target to aim for.
So, what are the big takeaways here? What are some best practices you can start using like right now to get better results from any AI? Let's run through them. First off, be super clear. Don't be ambiguous. Tell it exactly what you want the final response to look like. Next, give it context, all the necessary background info. Any formatting rules? Lay it all out. Third, you gotta find that sweet spot between a prompt that's too simple and one that's way too complicated. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, you just have to experiment. Tweak your prompt, try it again, see what changes. It's all about testing and refining.
And that's a quick look into the world of prompt engineering. It really makes you think, doesn't it? As these AI models get smarter and smarter, maybe our most important skill isn't about knowing all the answers anymore. Maybe it's about learning how to ask better questions. Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.